Good morning to all. So today we're going to discuss about the chapter number 4 of computer application, file management and data processing. In this chapter we are going to discuss about concept of file and folder, file access and storage methods, sequential, direct and index sequential access method, and data capture, data storage, data processing and retrieval. So first come to the file management and data processing. So before going to the file concept, first you focus on the fundamental concept of like data, information and the processing. So what is the data? Data is a collection of facts, unorganized but able to be organized into useful information. And data can be manipulated to produce output such as bills, employee salary, slip. And then your information. Information is a data arranged in an order and form that is useful to people who receive it. So data generally the raw facts or it is in the form of the generally the unorganized form, but when it will be placed in organized form, it will become a useful information, and that information is data arranged in an order and form that is useful to people who receive it. Right, so processing, then let's come to the processing. What do you mean the processing? Now it is a series of action or operations that convert some input into useful outputs. Data processing is a series of actions or operations that converts data into information, and it consists of three activities, or you can say entire processing can be done through the following three your activities or steps. First is you are capturing the input data, manipulating the data, producing the output. First you are capturing the data, then manipulate the data and producing the output. Next is your data storage hierarchy. What do you mean the data storage hierarchy? Under the data storage hierarchy there are the few concepts there. First is in the hierarchy group. That means the data storage means how the data will be stored. First come to the bit, then the character, then as a field, then record, then file, then the database. And these are the hierarchy generally maintained when we store the data within the computer system. So first is your bit. It is a very smallest item of data, is a single binary digit, either 0 or 1. That means when you write 10001, that means that each bit or each item of data is a single binary digit, either 0 or 1. Next is your character. Okay, character is a combination of multiple related bits. That means it is a group of bits becomes a character, or you can say it is in the form of the byte, and it is a combination of multiple related bits. Next is your field. A field is a combination of multiple related characters, and it is also a meaningful collection of related characters. Next is your record. A record is a combination of multiple related fields. For example, an employee record has fields containing data of an employee. File. A file is a combination of related records. For example, a collection of employees' records of a company forms an employee files. So database is an integration of multiple related files. For example, an employee database of an organization may integrate records of multiple employee files. So data storage in the hierarchy, first is your bit. That means the smallest item of data is known as the bit, and it is represented either 0 or 1. Character, the combination of multi-number of bits, or you can form it as a byte. Byte with the unit. When you combine 8-bit data, that is form a byte, 1 byte. That means 1 byte equal to 8 bit. Next is your field. Field is a combination of multiple related characters, and it's also a meaningful collection of related characters. So field means that when you form your file, there is some field like serial number. Suppose you are make a table, the serial number, name of the serial number, roll number, then the name of the student, age of the student, then the how much percentage get in the matriculation, that is the percentage in the matriculation. So these are the fields, and when you fill the data against each field, and the combination of these all the fields known as the record. Similarly, a group of records form as a file and a group of file form a database. So that is the hierarchy. Next come to the file management system. Next is your first is your transaction file, master file, output file, report file and the backup file. So first is your transaction file. A transaction file stores input data until it can be processed. Example, in a payroll application for generating monthly pay slips of employees, current month's transaction file contains this month's data of each employee. So that is the transaction file, stores input data until it can be processed. Right? That means the file contains the data until it can be processed. Clear? Next is a master file, contains all the data relevant to an application. That means inside a master file all data are available, and whatever the files made from the master file like transaction, output file, report file, backup files, all files are retrieve the data from the master file, because whatever the data updated and whatever the data newly inserted, it will be inserted in the master file. And your transaction file, it is a transacted file which stores the input data until it can be processed. Next is output file. Output produced by former program is stored in a file is known as output file, which is used later by the later program. A report file. A report file holds a copy of a report generated by a data processing application and in computer accessible form. Next is your backup file, is a copy of a file created as a safety precaution against loss of data due to corruption, deletion of original files. So these are the file management system. Next come to the file organization. So file organization deals with physical organization of records of a file for convenience of their storage and retrieval. And there are three types of file organization used commonly in business data processing applications. So file organization means how to organize the data in a file, that is known as the file organization. And these are the sequential, direct file and index sequential file organization. So next comes the sequential file organization. In a sequential files, records are stored one after another in ascending or descending order determined by key field values of records. And in sequential file, first record reads and process first, then second, then third and so on. That means all the records are stored in the sequential manner. The best example is the magnetic tape. That means in the old that means 10 or 20 10 years back or 11 years back, you are using the audio cassettes are there. Suppose you want to play a particular song, in right now in that case you just use the pause button, then you rewind that thing manually, then again you press the pause button, and whatever the song you want to listen, the particular song, in that time you just play in the particular time. So that is known as the concept of the sequencer, because when you start, suppose you want to access the file record number 30 directly, but is not able to access the 30. Again the kind of in the each time the controller back to the initial stage, then it will be play from the record number 1. So that is the sequential file organization. But the sequential one is the most efficient and economical file organization for application in which we have to update a large number of file records at regular scheduled interval. Next is these are the advantages. They are simple to understand and use. They are easy to organize and maintain. They need relatively inexpensive IO media. This is very they're having the low cost. Next, what are the disadvantages? They are inefficient and uneconomical to use for applications in which activity ratio is low. So these are the disadvantages point, because when always you are following the sequential processing, that is, so this is the disadvantage. Next comes the direct file organization. in direct file organization, the desired record can be directly located by its key field values. That means through the direct file organization, you can access the file directly from the one memory location. Like suppose you are playing songs from a CD right now, because CD maintain the track and sectors, and suppose you want to play the second song, then you just use your remote and choose the second track to, then automatically the music the song will play, which is stored in the track number 2. So that is a direct, you can directly access any data from any location. So this is a direct file organization. What are the advantages? Any record can be quickly located and retrieved directly, but disadvantages, they require relatively expensive hardware and software for storing purpose. Next is your index sequential file organization. In index sequential file organization, there are two files. One is your data index file. So there are two types of files here used. One is your data file, it contains records stored in files. Index file, it contains the index key and disk address of each record stored in data file. So records in the data file can be stored in random sequence, but index keys in the index file are stored in sorted sequence and index key values, right? So it is also known as the ISM, index sequential access method. And here the example of the index sequential methods. Here all the corresponding index number, your employee code 01, 02, 03, 04, address location is 1003, 1001, 1004, 1002. That means this details of this employee code 001 is stored in the location 1003, right? 1003 KP Sinha, 02 having the 101, that is location RS Patel, 003 1004, that means NP Singh. That means these index numbers are generated using the mathematical hash function, right? So what are the advantages? They can be used quite efficiently for sequential and direct accessing processing. Disadvantage, they require relatively expensive hardware and software resources for storing the data, and they require more storage space than other file organization because they maintain two data file and the index file. So all about this, the chapter number 4 is a very small chapter. So thank you to all.